And welcome back to the Canadian Entertainment Podcast with your host, Ben Stagger. This is episode 2. We have decided to come back for another round with a whole new sound and a whole new look. Let's bring you up to speed. So if this is an audio experience for you, as I think it will be for many people, most people, or I could be wrong, I don't know. Lots of people like to listen to podcasts like we're in the olden days. Like we're in the Orson Welles era. Orson Welles era, he's the long lost twin brother of the Olsen twins. Well, every few years you literally hear about a new Olsen twin every few seconds, like the one that's in the Marvel stuff. I was so shocked when I heard about her that I was like, okay, yeah, next thing we're going to know is that Orson changed his name from Olsen Welles to Orson Welles because he didn't want the pre-expectations of all the clout that his sisters would have, because of course Orson Welles he probably went to a mind or a future or a palm reader who saw him in the future and saw his sister's success. So he was like, I want to distance myself from them. They do their thing, I do mine. I don't. And if that's what he did, then it worked because they both literally have a legacy. Anyways, riff off the top, absolutely nailed it. We've come back for a second round, whole new, different perspective, different mindset. Of course, for the audio listeners, as I was talking about a few seconds ago, we have introduced a new theme song. You know what? I was listening to the podcast a couple times because, you got to listen to it. You got to decide, where's a clip? Is there a clip I can make here? And the theme song, it absolutely disgusted me. I thought I was like, don't get me wrong, I think rap music is great, but I just felt like I was like, what is this, 2012? This is 2012. Me doing a song like that, maybe. I just don't think I'm a rapper. But at the same time, the new theme song, is it too indie? We have to ask, or I don't know. I was also listening to the podcast and I was like, I don't want to come off as I know a lot about the music. Like I'm a know all about the music industry, because there's a lot to learn. Okay. Canadian music industry specifically. Anyways, we're just jumping from thing to thing a little. So new theme song. I just don't know if this Canadian entertainer, I don't know if people would buy me being a Canadian rapper. Let me know if you agree when I say, oh, it felt so 2012. The theme song just felt so 2012. Not to be too hypercritical off the top, but that's my first criticism of some. But I need to stop that, because the criticism could also be a sign of too much focus on thyself, right? Oh, I'm gonna so regret this. I'm gonna be so. whatever. This is a podcast. This is an open dialogue between me, you, the camera, producer. So you see what I'm saying, right? Anyways, speaking of C, you will notice behind me, I included a new visual element. And this is a good way, right? I heard that a good way to get more followers and stuff like that, give them different things on different platforms. So if you go over to YouTube, you will see a little Easter egg for my YouTube people. And I, of course, am talking about, I made a little meme. We know the meme, died certain year, born certain year. Well, what if I told you that last year, Entertainment Tonight Canada got canceled, but what was born in 2024, because sometimes people say a reincarnation cycle can take up to 8-9 months, right? It takes 9 months for someone to carry a new human into this world. Maybe that's just Canada. I don't know. I come from this from a Canadian entertainment perspective, so maybe that's true. But died 2023, born 2024. Welcome back, Entertainment Tonight Canada. It got canceled in 2023 of last year, and I think that is I do think it's an absolute tragedy, because I believe Entertainment Tonight is still on in other parts of the world, but Canada, for some reason, they said, we cannot do this anymore. And Justin Trudeau ordered for it to be shut down, and that just breaks my heart. Cheryl Hickey, much love to you. I honestly hope we could have you on the podcast. Producer, co-host, maybe you'd like to do a little segment, Entertainment Tonight Canada, on the Canadian Entertainment Podcast. Like, you could just fill us in. If you're interested, reach out to me on socials. You know where to find me, Ben Stagger. But yeah, so I was thinking, Entertainment Tonight Canada got canceled, but out of the flames came the Canadian Entertainment Podcast in June of 2024. It took a couple months, and it's possible that this is the reincarnation, but I don't want to say it is, because I could be entangled in a serious legal battle with Entertainment Tonight if they find out that this is an actual reincarnation. There's reincarnation law is extremely litigious, especially in Canada and with Canadian entertainment and all that. Anyways, another visual element I would like to point out, and I'm sorry for the people just on their freaking commute or something that they have to picture this, but you know what? Sometimes that's such a good mind game and really good, improves brain activity and all that. But picture this. The person talking to you right now is also wearing the sunglasses that he has been promoting the show with. Sunglasses or flip-ups, clip-ons or flip-ups. So he is wearing them as he discusses the Canadian entertainment industry with you. I thought, it's weird if you advertise, let's say you picked up a Mad magazine, right? And Alfred E. Newman was on the cover, and you're looking. Where's Alfred? And all you see is all these like Disney pictures, like you see like Mickey Mouse and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, I literally paid for Alfred E. Newman. I did not pay for Mickey Mouse. Sorry. Just had a little technical difficulty. I am so glad I caught that. The computer that controls this whole thing said, we have a low battery right now. We want you to give us some power again. So that's what I did. And I just literally saw that out of my peripherals. I am describing so much visual things, and we're 9 minutes in. But this is actually really good for brain activity. And also these days, like, our algorithms are so catered to what we want. It's good for you audio listeners to have a challenge, right? And this is something that would be good for me too if I will be a listener when I try to judge if there's clips from this episode or not. So I will be in your position too. Absolutely, very soon. But yeah, thanks again for joining us today. Again, our first episode had a lot of exposition. It had a lot of self-criticism, which take it or leave it, that was just the first episode. And we listened back and we said, well, as good as it is to be critical of yourself, sometimes it could be a bit redundant and, in fact, annoying as all hell. Oh, now I'm going to get the explicit, this is an explicit podcast on Spotify. Oh, and probably just got demonetized on YouTube because I said hell. Why are we so sensitive about hell? Not enough people are talking about it. No, actually some people are. But yeah, we felt that the first podcast was a little too sensitive, a little too self-critical. There was hardly a sense of joviality, right? And I've always been such a big fan of Santa and his jolliness, and I perhaps think that he is one of the original Canadian entertainers because the North Pole is awfully close to Canada. Like I said before, lots of entertainment starts in Canada, then spreads throughout the whole world. Like Santa, I would consider present giving a form of entertainment, one that perhaps originated as a tradition in the Canadian entertainment landscape. America, of course, has Joseph Smith for Mormonism. Well, we Canadians, we have Santa Claus. That was our thing, and that influenced Christianity. Christian entertainment, Santa, gift giving, Canadian, red and white, like the Yes Class Canadian flag. Should I literally become a school teacher? I literally think I'd be so legendary. Would I be allowed to wear sunglasses when I teach a class? That would be a little strange, but the lights are bright there too. Oh yeah. Welcome to the podcast. We have installed a nice little bright halogen light bulb. So the sunglasses are necessary. And for the audio listeners, I am so sorry. I'm such a blabbermouth. But blabbing is all part of survival. Sometimes I like to search up things on Google like, what is the purpose of laughing? Why did humans start doing that? And then it'll tell me, well, I don't have a producer, but we're working there. We're working to get a producer. But maybe you guys we got to interact a bit more, me and you, audience. What is the evolutionary purpose of blabbering? Is it, you know what it is? Blabbering is probably to distract your enemies when they are you're just blabbering to distract them. Maybe when some buddies come over and save you or something like that. I'm sure there's a Trailer Park Boys episode that where one of the Trailer Park Boys is stuck in a situation that they can't get out of, and they have to blabber to survive. And it's probably Ricky, but of course it could be Julian or Bubbles as well. That's just my guess here. But Thanks again for joining us. Another week in Canadian entertainment. This is the Canadian Entertainment Podcast. And this was a very interesting week for myself. Of course, in this podcast, I don't know what people were expecting, but I like to bring in my sort of week or sort of my first person perspective of the Canadian entertainment industry to the podcast, and maybe you can relate to this. I think this is very universal, and you will love this. But this week, I went to the juggernaut, the pillar, where we left off in the previous podcast. I went to what is holding this whole thing together. It is the glue. It is the bass. It is the drummer. Lots of people say that a drummer is what holds a band together. It broke up Rush, right? So, well, yes. And Rush did have a drummer before Neil Peart, and they didn't ask him to rejoin the band after Neil's passing. So think about that. But we're talking about what holds this industry together, and I believe that to be Star Trek. Star Trek is holding the Canadian industry together because it shoots in... Ding, ding, ding. That's right, class. Star Trek shoots in Canada at Pinewood Studios, to be specific. Now, I decided this week to make a journey to Pinewood Studios. It was supposed to be a jovial celebration. Go check it out, because I am really deep into Star Trek The Next Generation right now. Some stuff is going on with Worf, I will say that much. Season 4. You know where I'm heading. But I wanted to see, the past couple Star Trek series have been filmed in Canada at Pinewood Studios, so I want to go check it out. And if you've been following me, for the past couple of months, I have kind of noticed a trend or something specific to me, but I think there's a movement going on. There's a Bruins Trekkie movement going on right now. It's kind of bubbling up under all sorts of societies, Canadian society, the Canadian entertainment industry. There is a Bruins Trekkie movement where I have found there's a direct correlation between being a fan of the Boston Bruins and being a Trekkie. And what is Trekkie, you ask? Well, it's a fan of the show Star Trek, any of the 5 to 7 iterations of the program. And I have been talking about this a lot on social media. Some people like it, some people hate it. The likes, the shares, they say it all. And I had all plans over, past couple of weeks. I was like, I am going to go to Pinewood Studios with my Bruins hat on, and maybe I'll walk up in there and I will pitch Bruins Trekkie as a brand new character for the show, right? Or spin-off, or perhaps I could be in the Lower Deck series, which is the animated series. I'd stand there. They could draw me, whatever. They literally, if you watch the show, they have anybody you could think of shows up in this show as some sort of alien race. You have Ferengis, you have Klingons, you have Romulans, you have humans too. I haven't seen any Mario characters, but I haven't watched the whole series yet, but maybe there's Mario characters perhaps. But there is no reason why there couldn't be a planet full of Bruins Trekkies, right? Anything's possible in the Star Trek universe. It is infinite. So I was like, this is a good idea. So I marched down to Pinewood Studios. But rewind a second. Before I started marching down to Pinewood Studios, I was looking all over for my historic Boston Bruins cap, which I got in January of 2024 in Campbell Ford or Campbellville or Campbell Ford, which one is ever more north, which one has the giant toonie, which we'll talk about in another time. And I noticed that my Bruins hat was missing, right? So my Bruins hat was missing. So that essentially ruined all plans of making a proper Bruins Trekkie pitch to the Star Trek company. So that literally ruined my life. But nonetheless, I persisted. I went down there and I just stood outside Pinewood Studios and I just essentially shot the shit with myself. I had the camera rolling and I just spelled it out for my viewers. I said, look, this is what's going on. I lost the Bruins hat. I think I lost it at the Nevermind live show at Annabelle's Music venue, 200 Princes Boulevard, Toronto, Ontario. I think I lost it on stage. I explained this to my viewers, and this is upsetting. Be on the lookout for this hat. Posted this video to socials. Like I said before, I only really use 2 socials right now. Well, 3 if you count Gmail. Posted it to TikTok, Instagram, and we got about 70 likes on Instagram, and on TikTok about I think 23 to 30, and I think we broke 450 views or something. So it's safe to say that people connected with the video and they are looking for the hat, and we hope that when the hat is found, we will be able to really make a strong pitch to the Pinewood Studios gang, the Star Trek gang, the state of Gene Roddenberry, and just say, look, I'm a Canadian entertainer. I have an idea. We know that the world the show can be a little. We want elements of the United States of America in it. But we love Canada as well. You shoot in Canada, you love Canada, but so this is incorporating some of that. Bruins is an NHL hockey team with a lot of grit that a lot of people connect to, that a lot of people hate as well. And your show has a lot of grit, but a lot of people hate it as well. But on the back burner, hockey is a Canadian or Russian sport. So what do you think if we made a character and it would pretty much unite? It would bring viewers from Boston and some viewers from Canada. Perhaps it would get some eyes on the program. It could make headlines, right? The Boston Globe is a big paper. We could probably get your front page story. What would you think about that? Is what I would say of the pitch to these guys. I think I'm on to something. So look out for that hat. It's a Bruins hat. Boston Bruins has the big B. And I would be delighted if that hat was found and I could successfully complete my Bruins Trekkie pitching mission. Brought a water ball this time. I have learned so much between the first podcast and the current one, which isn't even released right now because I'm in the present moment. And I'm just going to embrace the present. This has not been released right now. This is the present moment. And the present moment feels so legendary. Anything could be going on in Canadian entertainment right now, and I literally wouldn't know about it because I'm stuck in the present moment. And that's kind of badass. Yeah. Anyways, so of course, I have had this debate with people, but some people say that sports or look, I'm gonna just come out and say it. I think hockey is a form of Canadian entertainment, and it should be discussed on this podcast. Absolutely, 110%. If any hockey players want to come on this podcast, Doug Gilmour, Mark Messier, Jerome McGinley, Jeff Beliveau, any of the grandchildren of Maurice Richard, any of Tim Hortons' relatives, let's chat. Let's talk about it, because I consider that under the umbrella of entertainment. Where do you watch it? On a TV set or a tablet or a smartphone? So, and how do you feel when you watch it? Oh, well, you're not really thinking about how you're feeling because you're in the present moment enjoying it. And what is enjoyment when you're sitting down and watching something? Well, I would classify that as entertainment, but of course I didn't complete a degree when I started at University of Waterloo, so my opinion means absolutely zero. I have no degree proving anything. I have a comedy diploma from Humber College, and I also have a plumbing certificate from Conestoga College, but that stuff means diddly squat, and it's either you have a big ass diploma with the letters master's or PhD on it, or you have about 100,000 followers. That's the only way people will give a shit about you. No one cares about. No, I just can't. But there were some elements of truth to what I was saying. New laugh. Yeah. Well, you like 1 hour ASMR of my new laugh? I think that'd be kind of cool. I think if I incorporate the laugh into some stuff, I really think that's the key to unlock this whole Canadian entertainment game we're playing. But anyways, I wanted to talk about how I consider hockey a part of the Canadian entertainment landscape. Hockey, some people say, is Canada's sport. Other people say is Russia's sport. But we're not talking to you right now, Russia. I wonder how often Russia thinks about us. And do they have their own like Russian NHL? Russians in the comments, let me know about that. But yeah, I think hockey is a form of Canadian entertainment for sure. The original 6 hockey teams, about 3 to 4 of them were Canadian, and people went to arenas and watched them. Is that not Canadian entertainment? The host asks. The host asks, is that not Canadian entertainment? And I, in fact, would classify that as such, but whatever. But you know what I wanted to talk about today is I want to talk about this on stage or in real life. But why not talk about it on a podcast and post it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, and just about everywhere else where you can watch one of these damn things. They're literally an infestation. Like, you can literally find them anywhere. Why don't I talk about my experiences with this form of entertainment recently? We consider hockey and the NHL Canadian entertainment. Well, because a lot of the key players are, in fact, ding, ding, ding. That's right, class. Say it with me now. Born and raised in Canada. A lot of them are. There's a few Swedish guys, a few Russian guys, a few American guys. I'm sure there's a few guys from Papua New Guinea. First country that came to mind. I'm not sure, but maybe there is. I'm sure there's a couple people from... My mind's blank on countries right now. No, there's a lot. People play it all over the world, but in Canada is where a lot of the players come from. So I consider it another cornerstone of the Canadian entertainment landscape. Star Trek's at the bottom. Hockey is probably just it's the meat. It's the Montreal smoked meat. It's the bologna. It's the rib. It's the female bacon. or back bacon, as some Americans call it. It is the meat of our landscape. And a lot of people, if you've been following me on socials for years, have known that I haven't really been saying a peep about hockey for I have not been saying a peep of about hockey for the whole time you know me until 2024. And you're probably wondering, why did I start talking about hockey in 2024? Well, the reason I started talking about hockey in 2024 is because in January of 2024, I went to Campbellville or Campbellford. If I had a freaking producer, they would look this up and tell me which city I went to. And I went there because I was going there with my friend Shelby Wilson, who is an amazing band, Only God Forgives. Check them out. They're really awesome. And we went up there to film a music video for a song off my album that I talked about last week, The Law Song. We filmed a video for the song Bad Magic in My Pocket. We thought that would be a strong lead-off single. We had a lot of meetings. But anyways, we wanted to shoot it at the Big Toonie. So we went up to the Big Toonie. But on the way up to the Big Toonie, well, we got a little hungry. And right before you enter the main downtown strip of Campbellville or Campbellford, please tell me which one it is. You will find I believe it's a Shell gas station, but could be a Sunoco as well, and it is connected to, that's right, class, a McDonald's, and Canadian McDonald's has a little maple leaf in it. Aww. Is it weird that when I see an American McDonald's, I'm like, excuse me, put some clothes on? The Canadian McDonald's thing literally looks like, yes, Adam and Eve, you should put a leaf up there to cover that. You should put a leaf up there to cover that. And then I go down to the States, I'm like, you guys are really different down here. Cover up a bit, but at the same time, do your thing. It's your life swag, right? That's a clip. That's a clip right there. Right, that. Ding, 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 class. We got a clip on our hands. But anyways, so we go to this Shell McDonald's combo, and I'm just in the gas station looking around, and in a music video, you want to make sure you're wearing the right things, make sure your wardrobe's right, make sure you're displaying yourself as you want to be displayed. You're making a statement, maybe, perhaps. So I thought, well, maybe there's some last-minute costume pieces in here. You hear lots of things in the entertainment industry, like, oh, when they were filming Indiana Jones, the hat was a last-minute addition. When they were filming Star Wars, right before they started shooting, they said, Darth Vader, wear this black menacing helmet. This is going to up your villain game. You will be looked at in generations as one of the greatest villains of all time. They say that to him. Aladdin, last minute, they said, okay, why don't we draw a lamp in? And then you rub the lamp and a blue genie voice by Robin Williams comes out. So a lot of things that we know in our culture, especially entertainment-wise, notice I didn't mention anything Canadian. How come we don't have a lot of Canadian cartoons? Anyways, we do. There's a lot actually filmed in Canada, mostly children's ones, but I'm an adult, so we don't have your South Parks, we don't have your Simpsons, we don't have your Rick and Mortys, but maybe we do, and I'm just scatterbrained right now. But what I'm trying to say is that lots of distinct costumes and ideas in entertainment are kind of last minute thoughts. So I'm looking around this Shell gas station. I'm literally looking like a character from an Arthur C. Cohen novel. Arthur C. Doyle novel. Someone's been watching Star Trek. For the Trekkies out there, you know exactly what I'm saying. Sherlock Holmes. I was acting a lot like, just looking around, flipping up the glasses, looking around. And I get over to the hat rack. And the hat rack is an interesting place at convenience stores, gas stations these days, because you look on a hat rack and you could pick up a thing and you're like, oh, this looks nice. And look at the price tag, 1 Canadian Bitcoin. Great. So that's going to cost me $1.5 million with the economy, and Bitcoin prices are a lot of money. But I was looking around, go to the hat rack, and I see it. Black cap, B. And I was like, this is something. This is something different, right? I, as a kid and as a young adult, I tried to get into hockey, right? And I always was, as a kid, it was like Mighty Ducks. Oh, I love that. I love a Mighty Duck. Colorado Avalanche. Wow. That is so cool. What would an avalanche be like? Or Phoenix Coyotes. Oh, wow. But the Coyotes in New Jersey playing hockey. I loved the character, right? Or Atlanta Thrashers. What is a Thrasher? I would say, but I love the character. San Jose Sharks. Sharks aren't for me, but I'm kind of intrigued. Like Sharks are, like I was scared, but intrigued. But I never really got the Boston thing, the Boston Bruins thing. I always heard that they're this rough and tough team. And, I was just like a B. Oh, ugh, ew. But then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I get it now. A B. A B. It's a B in a crest, a protective crest with the colors yellow, black, and white. The colors of a bumblebee. Protective crest, B. Bumblebee. What does my first name start with? B. You gotta protect yourself. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an adult now. I don't need a funny little Mickey Mouse character. I don't need a Roger Rabbit. I don't need a Daffy Duck. I don't need an Elmer Fudd. I don't need a Popeye the Sailor Man. I don't need a Goofy, a Minnie, a Mickey, a Pete, a Peter Pan. I don't need a Genie from Aladdin. I don't necessarily need a Pepe Le Pew. I don't need a Rugrat. I don't need a Kermit the Frog. I don't need a Sorcerer Mickey. I don't need a Doug. I don't need a Paw Patrol. I don't need a Whimsy from Whimsy's House. Yes. We'll talk later. I don't need a Lunette the Clown. I don't need a cartoon thingamajig. No, I need a bee and a protective crest with the same colors as a bumblebee and with the same first letter as my first name, Ben. I'm older now. I get it. It's a bee and a protective crest with the same colors as a bumblebee with the same first letter as me. Price tag $11. Sold, Your Honor. Sold, Your Honor. To the highest bidder. I'll pay $13. I'll pay the tax is what I said. I'll pay the tax. Gladly. There's that laugh again. So I did. And I wore the absolute living crap out of that thing. February, March, April, May, June, for 5 whole months. 5 whole months, I wore this Boston Bruins hat. It became a distinct part of my personality. People wouldn't recognize me on the street without it, right? Put it on. Oh, you're the Bruins Trekkie. Yes, we know. Welcome into the best nightclub in Canada. Drinks are on us. Happened to me a lot, but of course I don't drink. We'll talk about that in a different pod. I don't drink water. No, this is all air. This is all air. Yes, I'm on the yes. And it's been one hell of a 5 months. But now I freaking lost this thing and my heart is broken in 5 different pieces. And I wanted to talk about hockey, but I'm so fed up and emotional that I don't even know what the frick I'm talking about no more. But I do think that hockey is the meat or the sandwich of Canadian entertainment, and this is the Canadian Entertainment Podcast, so of course we're going to talk about it. And yeah, I never was able to really play sports that well as a kid either, if you're listening and you're a nerd like me. But as you get older, you need to accept sports as at least half of the entertainment field. It's an art, it's an improv game, right? It's just like Whose Line. But they're out there with sticks and pucks and balls. Stop it, dirty ones. Stop it, dirty minds. People's minds go there, and it's like, well, that's how we all come from. That's how we all got here, so it makes total sense. But whatever, that's for a different day. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, right? You gotta. Yeah. I think another piece on the Canadian next time we do this, if there's 8 camera people out there, I would love for I think I could do this standing and walking, pacing back and forth, kind of like a lecture, because sometimes I feel like I want to do that. But if we're talking the Canadian entertainment industry, and this is the Canadian Entertainment Podcast, it wouldn't be a Canadian Entertainment Podcast without talking about April Wine. Who's April Wine? International listeners are asking. Well, do you know the song Red and Yellow and Dreams and Changing? Yeah, oh yeah. Tonight is a wonderful night. Gets copyright claimed. I can't make a living off of this. Sigh. Charlie goes full Charlie Brown mode. Everything wrong happens to me. Everything, even my Canadian podcast about the Canadian podcast, Lucy. Everything wrong happens to me. Oh, let me guess, Linus, your blanket's not made in Canada. Frickin' prick. Frickin' prick, Linus. But yeah, you know, that show has very Canadian vibes, but it was not made in Canada, despite the fact that it was in the Kitchener-Waterloo comic strips, and I watched it at my grandma's house all the time, Askin Place in Kitchener. Good place. But yeah, let's talk April Wine. April Wine is one of those bands where I actually think that it is an absolute living ass tragedy that they didn't make it go worldwide. And you listen to this band and they have so many good songs. Just between you and me, and meant to be. They have so many amazing songs that you're like, this is a smash hit and better than half of the other classic rock crap I'm hearing on the radio. If I was in America and I go about like once a year, this is better, and you guys don't even know. This is better than Aerosmith. This is better than your Pink Floyd's. Some of it. This is better than your your Bon Jovis. This is better than, for example, your Kisses, your Aerosmiths, you get what I'm saying? Well, it's not. They just have a lot of good songs, and I feel like it's one of those things that, like, it's like, why do I only know about this, right? It's like AC/DC, better than AC/DC, and AC/DC's like Australia's thing. Sorry, but I even think that our country, why didn't we get behind this band more? They have some really good songs and some emotional ones too. Some of the best power ballads I've ever heard in my life. Sorry, I just want to, I have to do everything, right? I wouldn't want to lose you. I wouldn't want to lose your love. I wouldn't want to lose your love. And a change. Wouldn't want to lose your love. Apparently, they only played that song 7 times. Once at Lulu's Roadhouse in Kitchener, never went, but I heard that was a historic venue. Anyways, I think that they are such a big part of the Canadian entertainment industry, and we didn't show them enough love. Kind of like lettuce, right? So lettuce on the sandwich, you take it out, you are like, oh, I don't really like lettuce that much, but you take it out of the sandwich, and it's like, oh, this Gordon Ramsay, I know you made this sandwich, but it actually tastes like a piece of dog crap. Now, could you tell me why that is the case? Oh, sorry, I forgot the lettuce. He puts it back on. It tastes like the best thing you've ever eaten in your life. Exactly. But yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that they really didn't get their due, and they should have got their due. And unfortunately, the lead singer passed away in December of 2023 without much fanfare. And that's sad. So rest in peace, Miles Goodwin. And I absolutely find it absolutely shocking that your band is from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So let me get this straight. You're from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Stan Rogers, who made Barrett's Privateers. So, have to make this good for a clip. So I have to say everything involved. So let me get this straight, April Wine. You are from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Stan Rogers, who sang Barrett's Privateers, Northwest Passage, is from Hamilton, Ontario? To hell? Yeah, that's proof that we're living in a simulation. And that's proof that we're living in a simulation, altered timeline, and all that, because that just does not make sense. That's a Mandela effect that no one wants to talk about. Why, when I was growing up, was April Wine from Hamilton and Stan Rogers was from Halifax? Why was that a thing? And it is not there. Everyone wants to talk about Bernstein Bears, but no one wants to talk about how April Wine grew up drinking Collective Arts beer and practicing at Tim Hortons Field, and Stan Rogers started off as a PA on Trailer Park Boys. And by the way, don't even get me started on why I also remember growing up, Trailer Park Boys was filmed in Ontario, Oshawa, but that's another story. But that is a Mandela effect, and there's a lot of Canadian entertainment Mandela effects that no one wants to talk about. Trailer Park Boys filmed in Oshawa, April Wine being from Hamilton, Stan Rogers being from Halifax, Gord Downey from Fredericton. You know exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, like, when people are doing podcasts, this is only my second one of this one, if they're thinking, I gotta make a clip out of this. Like, it used to be back in the, and like, you would stand-ups, I do stand-up comedy, so yes, I do. it's under the entertainment banner. But yeah, I don't have that in the back of my mind. So I'm getting new to the podcast industry, so eventually this will go away. And if not, well, healthcare in Canada is free, so I can literally go to a brain surgeon and I say, oh, can you remove the part of my mind that is thinking in podcast clips for IG Reels and TikTok and YouTube Shorts because they're monetized and I want to get paid for it? You do that? Oh, yeah. And by the way, in Canada, your family doctor, they could all do brain surgery. So I will be getting that done soon. I will be getting that done very soon. And can we not talk about how the Canadian healthcare system is also under the Canadian entertainment field? It literally is. Michael Moore made a whole dang movie about it called Sicko. And it did do so well because no entertainment thing, they never want to take place in Canada, and that's why Sicko flopped. That's why people took bathroom breaks during Bowling for Columbine when he went to Sarnia and he talked to people. Why is that? We got to get over this fear of Canada. Fear of setting our shows in Canada. Why is that? Okay? If you work at the Canadian entertainment industry, and I know some of the heads of some of the major networks are watching and listening to this right now when it comes out, because by gosh, I hope you haven't tapped into my Canon Vixia HF 510. You guys, let's start setting some shows in Canada a bit. Oh wait, that's American. They don't want a show in Canada. Oh, the Canadian entertainment industry is so confusing. It just leaves me at a standstill sometimes. But that's fine. Yeah. It's good to be at a standstill. It's good to just drink it all in and just be grateful and thankful and all that. I really wanted to make this podcast not as emotional and a little more fun, you know, and I think we had a lot of fun today, and I'm so excited to share this one for you. Thanks for sticking around. We got a number of followers on the various networks, Spotify, YouTube. Apple Music stats, they're hard to get a hold of, but tell your friends about this. This is not just a podcast. Yes, know what this podcast is about? This is my mission statement. This is about making Canadian entertainment universal. We want people to give a crap about Canadian entertainment, and then we will get them to start caring about Canadian politics too. I want everyone in the world to know the word Jean Chrétien. That should be some of y'all's first words, right? But we so appreciate you for tuning in from all around the world. I think so far only 2 countries have listened to this, Canada and ding, ding, ding. That's right, class. The United States of America. Alaska is ours. Alaska is ours. Alaska is ours. Alaska. Alaska is ours. Alaska is ours. Alaska is ours. Alaska is ours. Say it so much. Manifest it a lot. No, I don't know what I'm thinking. But I hope Star Trek comes true. I hope that we're accepted to the Federation. And we got it. Be on the lookout for the classic Bruins cap. I told you the origin story. Y'all loved it. And we got to find that hat. And I got to go to Pinewood Studios. And you guys got to come with me. Maybe we do a live podcast from there. And we're just in there chilling. And we have the head of Pinewood Studios. They say they're the guest, and We tell them it's a live bot, and I'm like, see, we already have these people who will watch this thing, right? And that would help sell the idea of the Bruins Trekkie series. I would go for a mini series too. I'm a short guy, so I do a mini series. I know what it's like being mini, right? Mini with a heart of gold. I always connected more with Minnie than Mickey because of the first name. Minnie, that's who I am. I remember trying to convince my parents to get a Mini Cooper when I was a kid, but no, we have to get a Toyota Matrix, they said. Thing lasted till about last year. They got in 2004 and it lasted till about 2023 or so. After its 60th birthday, I said, well, shouldn't you be driving me? I literally said it to that many times, but no response per usual because there's a lot of people who just don't want to talk to me, but whatever. I'll talk to you, right? Let me know if you're out there using a Toyota Matrix in 2024. I think cars are part of the Canadian entertainment industry too, and we make a lot of Toyotas in Canada, in Woodstock, Ontario. Anyways, everybody, this has been one of the joys of my life. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had so much fun doing our thing, and I appreciate your support in such an insane way. Thank you for sticking it out, and you guys are some of the realest people I've ever had the privilege of intercepting in my life. So thank you so much for listening to this. Let's get Canadian entertainment. Let's get the conversation going. Remember, ET Canada died in 2023, but welcome back, Entertainment Tonight Canada, the Canadian Entertainment Podcast hosted by Ben Stager. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, really, thank you. No, I'm being serious. Thank you. Bye for now. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but let's bring that up in the next podcast. What was he forgetting? Let me know, but maybe I'm not. But thank you so much, everybody. Bye for now. Thank you.